So how can realtors survive if they don't have enough resources? Hi, my name is Yasser Khan and I'm the author of Property Agent Secrets book, which is the most powerful book in the real estate industry, guaranteed. So, many agents out there, they have this mindset that, they don't have enough money or they don't have enough connections in order to succeed or they don't have enough time. So basically they're letting the lack of resources preventing them to achieve success, right? And many agents think that it takes money to make more money, right? And I've seen a lot of agents complaining online, on Facebook, on chat, that they don't have the marketing budget to run marketing, or they wish that they knew more people so they don't have to do door knocking and all that, right? So how can realtors survive with lack of resources? Let me tell you something. A lack of resources is never the problem, right? Let me go back to the definition of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who solves a problem for a profit and he gets things done, right? And to solve a problem, you have to be creative, right? You have to be resourceful, and resourcefulness is a key attribute, a key characteristic of a very successful entrepreneur. If you look out there, if you look outside, if you look at all the successful realtors out there, if you look at all the successful entrepreneurs out there, and chances are you realize that yeah, they were very resourceful. They always, in business, you will face at least three major setback that will try to get you out of business. On average, three major setbacks, right? And all the successful entrepreneurs out there, they face more setback than that, right? And whenever they face the setback, usually not enough money to expand, or not enough resources, they don't have much staff, they don't have enough connections, they don't know enough people, they don't know how to pull strings, for example, right? All that is this mindset out there that there is a lack of resources, right? I mean, seriously, that's the wrong way to think about it, seriously, right? I mean, it's not really an issue of lack of resources. The real problem is there is an issue of lack of resourcefulness. Simple. If entrepreneurs face lack of resourcefulness, seriously, they'll go out of business. And that's one of the major reasons why many entrepreneurs fail, and many real estate agents also fail. They're not resourceful enough to get new business, to get more business, and they can't use a bit of creativity to try to find creative solutions to the problems that they face, right? And if you look out there, innovative companies, right, what they do, they come up with innovative solutions to problems, right? And some people, some inventors out there, what they do, the process of invention is the same thing. Inventors are very, very resourceful people. They come up with new solutions to new problems, and that's the whole idea of entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneurs, by their very definition, they look at the gaps, right? So as real estate agents, you look at the gaps in the industry, gaps in the market, and you find what are the buyers looking to buy, and you look for the buyers. You have a home to sell and you look for gaps, right? So for you to do all these things, you have to be creative, you have to be resourceful, you have to make things happen. And by being by having the ability to make things happen, the definition is essentially, the characteristic essentially has to do with being resourceful, right? So let me tell you something about myself, right? All those years ago, I was let me okay I grew up overseas, right? And I got called back to Singapore for my national service in the year 2000, and I served my NS, after my O level, after my A level in about 2005. So 2009 was when I joined as a real estate agent. Imagine, I only have less than 3 years, to, in professional life as I was in MLM, right? Before I joined real estate. So I had less than 3 years. Growing up, I was very poor, and I struggled to be understood by people with my accent, right? So I don't have any connection, I don't have money. right? And I had a poor accent that I always struggled. And the fourth thing is that make it very bad for me was that I used to be very very shy. I was so shy. I couldn't. I was scared the first time I knocked on the door and the person called the police. And after that, I never knocked on the door again. And that is how shy I was. Seriously, right? And even while I was facing all these problems, right, I was resourceful. What I did was I tried to learn what I was bad at, and I tried to learn what I was good at, and I realized that I was good with computer skills. I was good with PC, and my cousin had donated a PC to me all those years ago, even though my family couldn't afford one, right? And I used that PC to search for a solution, and I stumbled across Dan Kennedy, and Dan Kennedy said, do this, write amazing copy, and give the prospect, give the buyers, give the sellers what they want. And I came from that angle, and I borrowed some money, and I quickly, using my web development skills, I put up a simple offer, put up a simple website with a simple form, and I offered what I had to sell. And suddenly, after 24 hours, I had 1,948 leads. Imagine, 2,000 over leads in less than 2 days, and I got flooded with so much business precisely, because I took the initiative. I couldn't afford, buying flyers. I threw flyers for a while, but I couldn't afford hiring someone to throw the flyers for me. So I was throwing all the flyers by myself, but that didn't work. But what did work was that I knew, how to work on a computer, and I was PC literate, and I was good in writing copy. I was good in, convincing online people who were on my website. I was good in that, right? And they liked what I had to offer, and that is the reason why I got flooded with more business than I could handle. And that is, me being resourceful. That is one example of being resourceful. So, you don't have any excuse, right? Don't make up excuses when there are no excuses. There shouldn't be any excuses, right? You know, you don't need a lot of connections, but you do need a lot of, prospects coming into your business every single day, right? And that is how you can make the business work for you, because real estate doesn't sell like chocolate. For example, people buy chocolate every single day, but not real estate. Nobody wakes up one day and decides, oh, I need to buy a house right now. No, right? The process of buying a house takes place over time, and the length of time is such that when someone buys a house, they are out of the market for more than 5 to 7 years. So for us to make our business work in real estate, right, we need the numbers, right? And the numbers come from being resourceful, learning about marketing, learning the right kind of marketing, right? The right kind of marketing, when you do it, right, every $1 you invest in marketing, if the right kind of marketing will give you back more than that, give you back triple, quadruple, 10 times the investment that you made. And by the way, marketing is an investment. It is not a cost, right? So when many agents out there think that marketing requires money, yes, it does, but and they think that it's a cost, right? So the mindset of thinking that investing in their business, they don't want to invest in their business, think it that way. But when other agents think that they have, it's costly to advertise, then what I can tell you is that there are a few things that they are doing wrong, and the number one thing is that they're doing the wrong kind of marketing. Because if they do the wrong kind of marketing, yes, they will lose their money. Because seriously, it's the wrong kind of marketing. That's right, right. But if they use the right kind of marketing that I teach, that I help my agents to work, my agents to use it, right, then you can get back your investment very very fast. Seriously, right? So marketing is an investment, and lack of connections is not an issue, because seriously, everybody is online right now, right? You got to build relationship with more people over time. The more prospect, the more buyers, the more sellers keep in touch with you. You should have an automated follow-up, automated way of keeping in touch with them until they get ready to buy or sell, after 5 years, after 7 years, assuming that you are in it for the long term, right? If not, then you should get out of the business. Seriously, even I'm gonna say it anyway, even though you may not like it. All right, it's a long-term game. You got to be prepared for the long term, right? So ultimately, being resourceful has to do with yourself as an entrepreneur, your own skills. It has to do with your personality, right? So you can't keep, lack of money stop yourself from making more money. You can't, keep lack of connections stop you from having the success that you want. And certainly you cannot let, lack of, time or lack of staff or lack of any other resource out there stop you from achieving the success that you want. Seriously, right now, 21st century, we are alive in the best of time. Seriously, people are earning money literally from online, and they're selling things online. Everyone is online. You can, show properties in virtual, in 3D home tours. Seriously, so the amount of technology that is coming up is amazing, and since the technology is making things easier for us, making things faster to do, it's making the impossible possible. So you got to be a bit slightly more creative. Go get out of your comfort zone. Go out there and try new technology. Experiment. Without experimenting, you won't know what works, right? So you got to be willing to take a little bit of risk for a extra reward, and seriously, all that reward, seriously, ultimately, there's no risk for you, right? So this is the secret how you actually, stop letting a lack of resources be a problem. And hopefully, by watching this video, hopefully you get a better idea, and you try to improve your creativity, come up with creative solutions to problems.